Hello everyone, I'm 18 Storm Track meteorologist Austin Haskins. Our first winter storm of the season is upon us. Winter storm warnings continue for the entire WQOW area until 3 a.m. Friday, so that goes until the early morning hours on our Friday, with moderate to bursts of heavy snow around and gusty winds leading to reduced visibility, some blowing and drifting snow possible in spots, and also that's going to lead to snow-covered roads and hazardous travel. All thanks to a potent area of low pressure. It's a fast moving, but it's got a little bit of a kick to it as it's moving through South Dakota this morning. It'll track down across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. There has been this morning, I've noticed, a little bit of a southerly shift in the track of the system, and some of the heavier snow has actually been kind of along and south of Interstate 94. So we'll watch the trends on that, but regardless, we are going to have travel impacts today. We're in that yellow category according to the Winter Storm Severity Index. So that means there will be some minor impacts, which means the roads will be covered with snow. Again, the timing is through tonight. Moderate to heavy snow, breezy conditions, and reduced visibility with pretty high confidence. Now, I will say, though, the highest snowfall rates or the intensity of the snow will be at its peak this morning through about noon, 1 p.m. today, and then the intensity will start to kind of taper off a little bit. You'll see that here on Futurecast coming up. But if you are traveling today, there is a list of school closures and other locations around the area that are closed and businesses on our website, so be sure to check out there to see if your school or business in your area is closed for today. But be sure to have your lights on if you do need to travel today. It helps others see your car more easily, and of course you'll be able to see other vehicles as well. Again, try to avoid the high beams, use those low beam lights, and remember, auto lights don't turn on in the daytime snow, and the daytime running lights also don't activate the rear lights either. So just make sure make sure you maybe have a snow brush in your vehicle, or even a shovel perhaps, in case you do happen to maybe get stuck perhaps. Just have some of those safety tips that we have talked about before. Just have that stuff with you just in case you need to travel today and if something were to happen. And another thing to keep in mind, though, too, when driving on snowy and icy roads, it's been a while, and again, all snow is slippery, even if it's just a ½ inch or an inch of snow. Be sure to give yourself extra time and space for travel. Be sure, if you need to leave a little bit earlier, perhaps, increase your following distance. And again, as I just talked about, keep those lights on. One thing at a time, the gas, braking, or turning. Try not to do all that at once. Do it one at a time. And also, too, the biggest thing I'm going to stress here, give those plow drivers plenty of space so they can clear the roads and make sure that they are a little bit safer for everybody. So just keep those things in mind for today. So let's track it out here on Futurecast. And again, we're going to see widespread light to moderate to at times heavier pockets of snow this morning. As we get towards the lunch hour, the intensity does start to come down, and there are some breaks in the snow. So that may lead to think that we'll start to see, again, the intensity come down a little bit into the afternoon. And I have been noticing that the heavier snow so far this morning, and even some of the models are suggesting it might be trending a little bit further south. And so instead of it maybe being the Interstate 94 corridor, it may be between I-94 and I-90, which would be kind of, at least in Wisconsin, kind of along the Highway 10 corridor. So we'll watch things closely as the day progresses. This evening, we may get a little bit of a break, and then we'll still maintain some snow showers overnight as we get on the backside of this system. But by the time we get to sunrise Friday morning, we'll start to see the clouds begin to break up a little bit, and we're actually going to have a pretty nice day on Friday with a decent amount of sunshine, even though temperatures will still be below freezing. With crews getting out, road conditions should gradually improve overnight tonight, and especially during the day tomorrow. But again, still use caution. So how much snow are we looking at? This is the latest forecast. Basically 3 to 7 inches across the area. The 2 to 5 inch line is down to Faribault, Rochester, and La Crosse. But if we end up seeing a southerly track into the heavier snow, we may have to move this farther south and west, which would mean in our area, we could see totals maybe closer to that 3 to 5, 3 to 6 inch range. So again, this forecast has been, a little bit of a challenge, but I will say we're at least going to get enough to use the shovels, and the heavier snows are going to be over towards Green Bay, where maybe a little bit of some lake effect that they could see upwards of 5 to 9 inches in that area. So breaking it all down again, most likely we're going to keep it in that 3 to 7 inch range. On the low end, 1 to 2 inches, and that would be if we end up seeing more of a southerly shift in the track of the system. But if the system maybe goes back further to the north, where we get some heavier bands of snow later this morning into the afternoon, there could be some higher end totals that could maybe exceed 7 inches up to 8 inches. But most likely now, I think we're looking at anywhere from 3 to 5 to 3 to 7 inches. That's kind of where things currently stand. So here's the extended forecast. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s today, so this is going to be kind of a fluffier type snow, which is also why with that wind being around, it is going to reduce the visibility and lead to maybe some blowing snow around. Tomorrow, gradually clearing, a high of 23. It's going to be cold tomorrow night, a low of around 0, some spots below 0. Saturday up to 20 degrees, 27 on Sunday, and then we're into the 30s next week. Looking at another round of maybe some light snow and possibly a wintry mix overnight Sunday into Monday. But the good news is, if you're traveling on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, it's going to be mild and it's going to be cloudy, but I don't expect any chances for precipitation.